Alright guys, so a topic that has been highly requested is for me to go over glycemic index and low glycemic index carbohydrates and low glycemic index foods in general. So to start off, a glycemic index is going to be given to any food that has carbohydrates. So if something is pure protein, or if something is a pure fat, or a fat and a protein like an egg, it's not going to have a glycemic index in general, so it would just be 0. Basically means there's no glycemic index. And what a glycemic index is basically going to be how much something affects your blood sugar, your blood glucose once it's been eaten. So basically like how fast something is digesting in your body and affecting you, and how quickly your body is going to be able to kind of like process and use that carbohydrate as energy. So, and the reason why this is important is because some carbohydrates are going to have a high glycemic index, which means it's going to spike your blood sugar, spike your insulin, and basically like give you like almost a sugar rush right away. That's going to be high glycemic index foods. And low glycemic index foods are basically going to not give you that huge sugar rush right away. It's going to slowly digest over time. You'll still get energy from it, but it's going to be longer lasting energy, almost more sustainable energy, because with these high glycemic index carbs, like if you've ever heard the term a sugar rush, that's actually a real thing. So if you're eating something that's like pure sugar and you're eating a lot of it, it's also going to have a glycemic load. So the glycemic index is based off of one serving. So if you have a high glycemic index food and you have multiple servings of it, it's going to have an overall high glycemic load. So you're going to have a really big sugar rush, and then but afterwards, what do you have? You have a crash. So the reason why this is important and why people ask me about it all the time is because in a weight loss journey, you want to avoid having those large spikes in your blood sugar, large spikes in your insulin. You want to kind of almost avoid those high glycemic index carbohydrates, and you want to stick to the ones that are low glycemic index. And the ones that are low glycemic index are also going to fill you up longer. A lot of times they have more fiber in them. They're going to give you longer lasting energy. You're not going to have a big rush in your energy and then a crash and then get hungry later after, like you do with a high glycemic index carbohydrate. And then that's also a number one reason why you want to avoid the high glycemic index carbohydrates, because if you're cutting, you definitely don't want something to where it's going to not give you long lasting energy and you're going to get hungry, because those are the main things that you're going to be battling with when you are in a calorie deficit. You're going to struggle with lower energy because you're obviously eating less. You're in a calorie deficit. Satiation is going to be the other one. So you want something that's going to keep you full so you're not hungry, and then you want something that's going to give you energy so you're not drained. You want sustained energy, nice and smooth energy. You don't want those big ups and downs in your energy levels. So that's why it is important to always think about the glycemic index of the carbohydrates that you're eating. And you want to, if you're trying to lose weight, it's better to really just stick to those lower glycemic index carbohydrates. So to kind of go over some of those that are going to be a low glycemic index, rolled oats are going to be a good one. So like oatmeal, and make sure that you're not doing the quick oats. Those are processed at a higher temperature. They're actually going to have a high glycemic index. So you want to just do like the rolled oats, like the old fashioned oats. Oat bran bread, berries, beans, peanuts. Pasta is actually low glycemic index. Believe it or not, a lot of people think, oh, carbs is bad for you. You can't eat that on a cut. That's wrong. Sweet potato, lentils, non-starchy vegetables, apples, dates, bananas, corn tortillas, oranges. So basically like what you can see here, and all of these are pulled off of a study that they actually did and tested the glycemic index of the certain foods at Harvard University. So these are all like correct. So they're based off of this study, because you go online, you Google like low glycemic index carbs. Some things are going to be on there as low, some things are going to be on there as high. So this is coming off of my nutrition guide, and it's based off of that study that I took a look at. And I've seen other studies as well, but even some studies, they will be slightly off, or people just pull stuff out of their ass. So you can't really just trust what you Google on the internet. So, and then the high glycemic index foods, a lot of those are going to be like white potatoes, rice cakes, sugar, white bread, cornflakes, instant oats, watermelon, instant mashed potatoes, rice, crackers, white rice. So there's white rice, and like rice in general, it's going to range and vary, but like the lowest glycemic index of rices, if you're going to have rice and you want to have it a lot, is going to be long grain jasmine rice. That's the lowest of the white rices. So that's like actually like, it's still like right there on the medium glycemic index, because I eat that all the time and I'm not trying to like spike my blood sugar, spike my insulin, but rice is just such a good food to kind of like put in your body. It's like kind of in between, you know what I mean? So, but if you're getting like just basic like short grain rice, and it's not like jasmine rice or anything, that's gonna be a higher glycemic index than the long grain jasmine rice. Some other things that are gonna be high glycemic index are just gonna be like mainly like sugary things that like white bread, rice cakes, anything that kind of like breaks down really quickly and kind of just like absorbs up into you quickly. And the reason why it's important to know and keep some of these high glycemic index foods with you is because after a workout, that's when you want to have your high glycemic index carbohydrates, because that's when your body is most susceptible to absorbing and using those carbohydrates. But randomly throughout the day, like if you're just spiking your insulin left and right, that's gonna be bad for you. And that's actually what leads to diabetes, is people are just like snacking all day, drinking sugary beverages all day, eating like chips or candy and stuff all day. It's spiking their insulin back and forth, because when you spike your blood sugar, your insulin is then spiked to kind of bring your blood sugar back down. And then when people get insulin resistance, that's when they get diabetes. So that's something that you don't want to do. The only time you want to really spike that insulin hard, if you're like kind of like in a calorie deficit and you're trying to like cut down and stay lean or whatever, is going to be after a workout. Because after a workout, you depleted your glycogen and you actually want to recover quicker. You want to restore the depleted glycogen. So having those carbohydrates after a workout is going to be great. Or even during like a run or something. So like those goo gels or like Gatorade during a run, or Gatorade during like a sporting event or whatever. That's what it's for. It's to digest quickly. It's high glycemic index, so that you can kind of replenish the depleted glycogen. Hopefully that helps for you guys. What I would really recommend if you're trying to cut down and shred off fat and just like stay not hungry all the time, have smoother energy, is really just stick to a lower glycemic index diet, and then have those high glycemic index carbs only after a workout. And I would say if you can't always follow that, if you do happen to only have like high glycemic index carbs and you need some carbs, always just eat protein with it. Always have protein with your carbs. Always have carbs with protein. The protein or the fats like paired with those carbs are going to like slow the digestion down a little bit, so it's going to help out some. But realistically, I would say to stick to those low glycemic index carbs and high glycemic index carbs only after a workout. This is pretty much how I've achieved the physique that I have, maintained the physique that I have, and how I've implemented and taught to all of my clients. And it's a game changer. I've been on this diet and like kind of following this for like 4 years now. I was doing it for myself for a year, and then for the past 3 years, I've implemented it with all of my clients. I think it's amazing. I mean, why would you not want to feel full longer, have longer, more sustained energy, and not have those spikes in your energy up and down all day? It just makes for a lot better and more enjoyable calorie deficit when you're trying to shred down and get lean. So if you guys have any questions, feel free to drop a comment below, shoot me a DM. I'd be more than happy to help you guys out. Cheers.